Boss News, the inside scoop.
Hi, this is Mike Roberts. I'm in Atlanta today. We've had 2 full days with President Mahama, the President of Ghana. Very profound individual, very clear in his vision for the country. I can see this is going to be a country that has a tremendous future. It's stable, it's financially secure, and I can see where many of us will be interested in developing and investing in that great country, Ghana. I was there in February of this year, 2013. I had a first-hand experience just to see it from a tourist perspective while looking, of course, at it from a potential business perspective. Being the serial entrepreneur that I am, I will probably eventually find something there, if not soon, later. Thank you very much. Signing off.
Upward. And so we've been going upward since then. And so Ghana has also pioneered Africa's return to democracy and constitutional governance. And today Ghana is held up as the model of democracy in Africa. And it's a continuation of what we started in 1957. We're proud to be Ghanaian, we're proud to be African, and we're doing everything possible to ensure that the African Renaissance that is taking place is not only consolidated, but becomes a reality. Over the years, there's been a negative perception of Africa as a continent in which nothing good can happen, and Africa was seen as a basket case. Many people at the beginning of the MDGs did not expect that Africa could be where it is today. Africa was seen as a continent of poverty, famine, hunger, disease, and dictatorship, conflict, and war. And the international media has continued to push this particular negative image. I say that part of the negative image has been contributed to by the poverty industry. That is, the organizations that appeal for charity and donations in the developed world to carry out charity programs and humanitarian programs in Africa. It suits their cause to continue to push that negative image, show children dying with flies on their faces, on their mouths, and show HIV-ravaged people, and that squeezes out donations for the poverty industry, and they use it to advertise the work they're doing back in Africa. But I must say that Africa is standing on its feet. Africa is rising. A new Africa is standing on its feet and standing shoulder to shoulder with the rest of the world. The success stories in Africa are more than the negative images that you see. And Ghana, my country, is one of the countries that is blazing that success. In 2000, we put before us the Millennium Development Goals, and Ghana has achieved almost all of them. Millennium Goal 1 was to reduce poverty before 2015. We achieved it long before the 2015 target date. The MDGs on school enrollments. We have more than 90% of Ghanaian children in school. We achieved the MDG targets on gender parity, that is as many girls going to school as boys. We have achieved gender parity in school enrollments. Girls of school-going age are all going to school. Yes. We're on track to achieve the MDG on availability of water, and more than 60% of Ghanaian families have access to clean drinking water. We are on track to achieve the MDG for HIV/AIDS. We've cut HIV/AIDS prevalence rates from 3.6% of the population to 1.5%, and it's still Indeed, 6 of the 10 fastest growing economies in the world are in Africa, and Ghana is one of them. Our economy 2011 grew by 14%, the highest in the world. And since then, we've been growing at an average of 8%. It's the vision of my government to maintain 8% growth of our GDP over the next several years. If we maintain that, in a decade, Ghana should transit from lower middle income country to a full status middle income country, creating a decent and dignified life for our people. Our economy is showing all the signs of an emerging economy. 3 years ago, the services industry overtook agriculture as the largest contributor to GDP. And that is a natural phenomenon of growing economies. More people are migrating from rural areas to the urban centers. And financial services are growing, tourism is growing, transportation is growing, telecommunications and ICT are growing, and Ghana is becoming a hub for financial services in the West African sub-region. Of course, agriculture is still a priority, and we're seeing increases in food production. Even though there's a drift from rural to urban, we are increasing agricultural productivity, and so rather than declining productivity in agriculture, we're seeing an increase in the amount of food that is produced. Last year, Ghana produced an excess of 200,000 metric tons of maize for the first time, and we had to issue export licenses for people to export maize out of Ghana in order not to depress the price domestically. We are currently producing half of the rice we eat, 50% from 10%. We've gradually increased local rice production, and we are currently estimated to be producing 50% of the rice we consume. We're looking at all other areas, poultry, livestock, and other areas to be able to achieve food security in Ghana. We have a great partnership with America when it comes to food security, and under the Feed the Future program that the American government is promoting, we're working together to increase productivity of smallholder farmers and also medium and large-scale agriculture. Typically in Ghana, our agriculture was based on smallholder production, and most of the farmers were subsistence farmers producing food enough to feed their families and taking the excess to the market. We believe that we must continue to support those smallholder farmers, but increase their productivity by giving them improved seeds, giving them fertilizers, giving them agro inputs in order to improve their productivity, but at the same time nurturing and growing medium and large-scale commercial farmers who farm mainly for the market to feed Ghana's food security and also feed other countries around the sub-region that have a deficit in respect of agriculture. Energy is a sector in which Ghana has a comparative advantage. All of you remember that in our first administration, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, in a close relationship with JFK Kennedy, the President of the United States of America, conceptualized the Akosombo Dam project, and together with Kaiser Aluminium of the United States, built the famous Akosombo hydropower station, and also built the Valco aluminium smelter to use power from the Akosombo Dam to smelt aluminium for the international market. That dam still produces nearly 40% of Ghana's power. But Ghana, because of an average growth rate of 8%, is seeing an increase in energy demand of between 6 and 7% every year. And so we have continued to put in generation, but demand, is in danger of outstripping supply. And so last year, when the West African gas pipeline got broken, that brings gas from Nigeria for thermal production in Ghana, we had an energy crisis. And so we had a phenomenon that I'm sure only Ghanaians understand. That's called doomsor. For those of you who don't understand, doomsor means on and off. Put it on and put it off. And what it meant was that we had to execute a load management program to distribute energy that was not sufficient to meet demand. And I must say that since I came into office, that has engaged my attention, and today we have come out of doomsor, and what I'm working to do is to ensure that we never, ever, ever, ever find ourselves in that. Since I was sworn in as president and my government was inaugurated, I've said that I've gone through what we call a baptism of fire. Every government, when it is inaugurated, has a honeymoon a year. For a little while, you're giving some peace and quiet to set up your government and put in place the policies that you want to execute. Not this government. There's been no honeymoon. It's been fire, right from day one.